Another thing that came to my mind, and I didn't even think about it until recently, was if I was to make this my final year and leave behind the community and everybody behind, there's a particular somebody that I feel like she's going to be devastated to know that somebody she bonded with so much is forever out of her life. And I know I'm talking like third person Chris Chan type stuff, but clearly people don't understand the patterns where we've been down. And I'm talking specifically about Tabitha St. Germain, dude. We've gone far over the past 3.5 years that we've known each other. And that's the one thing that I'm concerned about this year is if I was to leave behind the community, the events, and everybody, half of the people that I've made friends with, including some of the celebrities, they're going to be broken, dude. And I feel like out of all those celebrities, Tabitha is probably going to be the most broken because like we've gone far over the past few years. Back at Everfree Northwest 2023, first ever time in Seattle, and this was my first ever time meeting her, and we had an interesting photo opportunity together, and I noticed that she wasn't afraid to hang out with some of these people that go to these events, and I noticed that when I was looking over the photo that year that she wasn't too afraid of getting too close for comfort in the photo opportunities. And that year she treated me like one of her own kids, and I thought that was just beautiful, dude. Like, this was my first ever time meeting her, and she was a blessing. A couple years went by since the last time we spoke to each other in Seattle in 23, and she got confirmed as a guest of honor last year in San Francisco, where a bunch of bukkake happened, where the musician lead got fired, and this guy from West Virginia was condoning and more harassment. And even the organizers had saw everything I did, and they didn't believe anything that these trolls were doing. Like, they literally threw out every single one of them like yesterday's garbage. Anyways, about the whole situation with Tabitha. So when it came down to the VIP dinner last year, they literally positioned me right next to Tabitha St. Germain. And originally it was getting down to the point where the sponsor lead, she's like, I'm going to try my best to get you a spot at that table, but I can't promise anything. And then shortly after, I started defending a lot of these organizers from the abuse that was going on. The giant, fuck you, go to hell. This guy condoning and more harassment. The sponsor lead was notified that I was siding with the organizers and trying to defend these guys from just such rhetorical abuse that she literally got me a spot right next to Tabitha. And I wish I could be making this shit up. We literally got a spot right next to Tabitha St. Germain in California at the restaurant. And the entire time we were at the restaurant, she got to know more about my lifestyle. She got to know more about my family, what my mother does for a living, what my dad does for a living. And she even started referring to me as that Walt Disney movie, Herbie Fully Loaded, with Lindsay Lohan from like decades ago. Now, the crazier thing that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to call bullshit on, and I have the official Twitter post saved for a reason. Not really much happened last year in Seattle during our third encounter when we got a chance to meet each other. But right after the event, like a month later, on my birthday, dog, without me even asking the celebrities or even, mentioning much about my day, she comes out of nowhere and sends a Twitter post about my birthday without me even asking, and she took time out of her own day to write that. I wish I could be making this shit up, dog. I could not be lying about every single thing we've been going through. I could not be making this shit up, even if I wanted to. This is why I said this is my biggest fear. For a lot of people back home, they're going to be calling bull. But watch this. Right there. I could not be making this up at all. You guys are looking at the official post she made on Twitter on my day. I could not be making this up, even if I wanted to.